Good afternoon, Santa Cruz County Public Media family. We are very excited and we're back again with another segment of Meet Your Local Candidates. It has been a very busy couple of weeks, but we enjoy bringing you all the information that you need to know about our local candidates, what they're doing, how they're doing it, how will they be appearing in their ballots, and at the same time, everything that we also need to learn as voters. How can we receive ballots? Are they by mail? Will they be places where we can go vote? How is all these things work? So before we start with our guest, I want to share a couple of announcements. Thursday, it's going to be, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to interview the candidates for the Fiestas de Mayo, Fiesta de las Flores. So todas las pequeñitas y adolescentes, they're going to come here and we're going to interview them. This is also so much fun because, they're also representing us here in our county. They're going to share where they go to school, what they're doing, what part of Mexico they're representing. And then we get to go and join them on May 4 and cheer for them here in Morley Avenue where our studio is at. And we're going to get to see who's going to be crowned for this year, Fiesta de las Flores, Reina de la Fiesta de las Flores. And this is an amazing event. It's bringing all the community together, City of Nogales, the community, the arts community, the arts committee, El Consulado de Mexico, so Cero Estrés movement, and along with other many nonprofit organizations. So this will be an amazing party. We'll start on Thursday by doing their interview. Then Friday, the day before the 1/4 of marathon, the Cero Estrés movement, it's bringing for the third time. On Friday from 12 to 6, we get to pick up our packets. We get to pick up our shirts if we were the first 100 people that enroll. So we get to pick our numbers, our ship, information from many of our local communities, organizations that they are passing out information. So don't miss it. On Friday from 12 to 6, we get to see also their new youth center from Cero Estrés movement. We're going to go inside and we're going to get to see what they're been working on with amazing artists and muralists that they're putting together this community center for all of us to join and to enjoy that day. 12 to 6, come and pick up your packet. It's in 214 North Morley Avenue. We will be here passing out packets, passing out information. Thank you, Cero Estrés movement, for what you're doing, for striving with our community to have amazing health fairs. This is happening, the 1/4 marathon. It's happening on May 4th as well, along with the Fiesta de las Flores. It's a celebration the whole day. So we start in the morning with a run, with a health fair, and then we end that night with a celebration. So join us. And then I want to invite you as well for May 11 at my ranch in M&M Family Orchard. We will be having children entrepreneurs leading an educational farmers market. We're going to have yoga with goats. We're going to have little entrepreneurs there, and we're going to have just fun around the lavender field. We're going to get to present educational messages about safety with animals. We're going to keep planting, and we're going to get to see some of the sunflowers already, coming up. So a lot to do in our amazing Santa Cruz County. And now, thank you so much, Gregory Benoist, for coming to our new studio. We were talking before our interview. We're just barely moving, but it's a pleasure to have you here. You are running for Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors for District Number 2 in Rio Rico. And first of all, welcome. I would love for you to introduce yourself to our amazing audience that will be watching on Spotify, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, We Love Nogales with our followers on our Facebook media. Also reach out. Many of them inside of our county and then outside. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is really cool, and I appreciate the opportunity to get to speak out and show the community what I'm really here to help foster.
Yes, thank you. We're excited to have you here because, again, our purpose is to have as many candidates, everyone is welcome, leaders from our community that are working on making amazing things on our county, on our city, on our whole community. And I think it's also very unique that, you know, to have one of our leaders here in the community that will be on the ballot also as a write-in. So I would love also to teach our community, to get to know, like, what is a write-in? What happened when you're here interviewing with us, but then we don't get to see you on our ballot?
Right.
Is it okay if we write your name?
Yes.
You know, and all of those little things. So go ahead and
Okay. Well, I decided to join in late into the run. I didn't throw in until about mid-February. I kind of hemmed and hawed back and forth as to whether or not I wanted to give up what I'm already doing in order to pursue something different. And I feel like it's a good enough timing and my skill set and just things seem to be so coincidental that it's something that I decided that, yeah, I'm going to do it. But since I decided to run so late, I didn't have a very good strategy for collecting signatures. So although I didn't have to collect a lot of signatures, I did not collect enough signatures. So I'm still running as a write-in candidate, and that is there's going to be a box, inside the box where, in my case in District 2, there will be a list of the other candidates that have collected signatures and made it through the primary when it comes down to the general election. So whoever wins the primary for the Democrat, whoever wins primary for Republican, and then any other independent that's on the ticket for District 2 will show up in that box. And then at the bottom, there will be a line underneath the names. And then you would just write in my name, Gregory Benoist, and then that would count as a vote for me. It's a little bit more complicated because it's an other box, so it has to be verified, but it's still a very valid vote, and it is unfortunately a little bit harder to run a campaign as a write-in because people have to write your name and remember it. But I still believe it's something that it's fully possible in this county to do. There's such a close-knit community that as I've been making more and more friends and making more connections as I've lived in the community for a few years, I see that. And one of the topics we're talking about, maybe discussing, is the child care services. And that was one of the topics I had asked about with members of the community early on when I was coming out to events and taking pictures. And I was like, I don't see any daycares around, and what's up with that? And they said, well, we're more family oriented and we tend to step in for each other. So, and I was like, okay, well that makes sense. But then a couple months ago, I think I saw an article, I don't know if it was a local or if it was a Tucson publication, but about how there's a lack of child care services and there's a problem with that. So there is an opportunity that's there, and we just need to take advantage of it. And we can do this by looking back and reflecting on ourselves and seeing like, okay, it works for me in my situation with what I've got going on, but it may not work for other people in their situation. So the person I had asked has enough of a safety net and family and friends network to where they have never run across the problem where they've needed that situation. Where there's other people right now that are in Rio Rico and in Nogales that are driving all the way up to Tucson for work, or having to work 12-hour days or more just to get through to pay their bills. So they need that extra hand of having the help, but they may not have the family around to do it. Like in my case, Yes,
yes. And it's also, I think it's also unique and great to get to see people they just join us as neighbors in our community in Rio Rico that are coming from different parts of the United States, and also bringing those ideas, bringing those opportunities, and for us as residents also have that, open mind about, oh, okay, as a writing person in the ballot, how can we see your name? And I am sure it will be showing also on our interview, and we love Nogales, so for everyone, for all of viewers can get to see Gregory's full name. If you get to connect with him and know him, and then whatever your decision comes, you get to know your name, the position that you will be running, which is for district, for board supervisor for District 2, and then about your thoughts about childcare, which you have mentioned, and then tell us first a little bit about yourself. Okay. Where did you grow up?
Yeah, I should probably go into more.
We'll talk about more about your vision.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Then graduated from the suburbs out in there. Went to a blue ribbon school system, so it was pretty nice. We were fortunate enough to have that for our public schools. So after graduating high school, we ended up moving to Tucson as a family, and then I ended up going to Phoenix to school. And after graduating from there, I went to UTI for automotive technology. And I went to a manufacturer advanced training program after that with Audi, and it was called the Audi Academy. And with that, I had to sign an agreement to work at a dealership for a minimum of a year. And that agreement led me up to the Detroit area, where I lived there for about just shy of 15 years. And the entire time it was supposed to be temporary and be moving back. So I finally got the chance to move back in 2018. My dad was reaching the end of his life. My grandpa was reaching the end of his life as well. My grandpa passed away in 2020. My dad passed away in 2022. Actually, I think it might have been 2021 with my grandpa, but it was a short period between the two. Thankfully, my dad was around when I was able to buy my house here, so he got to see that, and that was like a big step and something that I've been trying to do for a long time. I had tried to buy a house back in Michigan when the market had dipped in like 2008, 2010, and it didn't work out. So like I feel a lot of people's struggles when it comes to dealing with, everything being expensive, everything being out of reach, and just feeling like you're kind of stuck. That's how the majority of my life has been. Like, my dad got sick when I was younger. He worked at the steel mill, and then about when I was 8, I guess, is when he started getting sick, but he didn't start really getting to the point where he couldn't work until I was reaching the end of high school. And then the steel mill shut down suddenly. Well, it was not like an overnight thing like some of the shutdowns that we've seen in the state with some of the mines, but it was still down to a skeleton crew. They cut his pension down. He was then forced to retire on disability because of the nature of his sickness. So like, it really put a struggle to the family right at a pivotal time in my life, where it was like I was starting to become an adult. And the mill, one of the other bosses that was there, knew my dad and saw the situation the family was having and offered me a job, knowing that he'd be able to give me enough money to pay for some of the stuff the family needed and be able to take care of things. But unfortunately, at the same time, there's consequences to that, and the environment is poisonous. And they don't tell you these things. They just say, hey, we're going to give you a big paycheck, come and do some work. Same thing with the auto industry. And when I went into that, they don't tell you, hey, when you get covered in this stuff, you need to get it off of you right away. You need to get away from it right away. It's not like, oh, protect yourself, wear breathing equipment while you're grinding. Okay, well, what about what's all over my skin? They never mention that. They don't push that enough. And then they don't try and address the toxic environment when it comes to actually addressing those situations, where it's more manly because you're covered in grease or dirt or whatever, and it's not. That's cancer. That's future cancer and future shortening of your life, and we need to work on that. But like, so I'm kind of going into more of like what's driving me to have certain positions.
I see.
But yeah, so I grew up on blue collar. I've always been blue collar until this job I have now. I'm a data analyst in the auto industry. So I administered the parts standards for a while. That was basically everybody that buys auto parts in the U.S. Buys the parts that you buy go through this standard, and it's done by a large organization in the Washington D.C. area. Sorry.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's important for all of us, for our community, to get to know where you're coming from, what's a little bit of your background and your history, because at the same time, we're all humans, and I think we enjoy those connections also, to get to know. I hear you, and I see, and I can see, and I can hear a lot of the environment and how you will care for our area, for our community. I was checking also your credentials, your motivations, your visions, your goals, and you mentioned also things about like our nature, our places. We have a beautiful green areas in Rio Rico, and we are very strong also as adults and as family members in conserving those. So, what is your vision, Gregory? About our Rio Rico areas, on how to preserve, and how also, at the same time, to join this board meetings as a supervisor, and what will be your goal or your vision about our Rio Rico area and how to preserve our areas?
We have to make sure that we are doing enough to protect the water supplies from being drained and from being contaminated. We have to make sure that we aren't pushing ourselves into an economy that isn't going to continue beyond its useful purpose. So if we're just chasing money, we're going to end up destroying our environment, and money's temporary, but the environment is going to last for a while. And any changes that we do make are going to affect that area permanently. And I appeared at a Board of Supervisors meeting speaking up. I prefer that we don't have the manganese mine operating, simply because of the nature of manganese and how things track out, and just draining the water table out of the mountain, where, like, if you were to stand in my front yard and you look out at San Cayetano, you can see that San Cayetano is just a few mesquite trees and some buffalo grass, and then maybe a few acetillo, where in the distance you can see Patagonia and Santa Rita, and they are covered in trees. And even behind me there you can see Atascasa, and it's got trees on it as well. And the huge difference being is that there's groundwater for those trees to be able to be sustained, where San Cayetano doesn't have. It may have water in it, but it's not close enough for any of the ground foliage to reach. Right. And I have concerns that if we drain the water table, we are going to kill out and brown out an entire section of the national forest or that area. And that's area that could be used for other things that are more permanent, like tourism. And like, we have a huge off-roading community in the area, but we don't have a big support system for them. We could work on that. That could bring more people in. We lost the resort in Rio Rico to a fire. We lost the golf course to just unpopular and, I guess, mismanagement. But we need to bring back some of that, at least the open areas for the community to meet in like, so like talking about vision and stuff like that. So more on the economy side of things. Yes. The county has the Rio Rico Vitality District. I'm big on this because I really think it's a great idea. So a few years ago, the county sent out a survey to everybody in the Rio Rico area saying, like, where do you go shopping? Where do you go to work? Where do you do all these different things? And based on the responses they got, put together like they had hired a consulting firm and everything, and they put together a big presentation that's available on the county website. The idea behind it is to enhance Rio Rico, not just drop Sahuarita in the middle of Rio Rico. So it wouldn't be like, you know, adding in 5 different national chains of stores so that there's a shopping district. It's going to be, we're going to enhance what we already have and then bring in some local brands and build up more local brands. I think we have an opportunity being on I-19 and being in that spot where people come down that way to hit 82 from certain spots of Tucson, or come up from Nogales to hit 82. And then we have Peña Blanca Lake, recreation area. We have Patagonia Lake, and we can take and use those to a much bigger percentage than we currently do. I go to Nogales quite a bit, like on the weekend. I usually go there once a week. And I was there a couple weeks ago, and there was a group of guys that came in. They all had kayaks. They were not locals, but they had kayaks, and they're obviously going down to Peña Blanca or over to Patagonia. So that is an opportunity that we have, where we have tourism coming in, and we're not really taking advantage of that. Like, we could have a better opportunity where there's a whole bunch of stuff on the frontage road that doesn't have signage that anybody would know about. So these guys stopped in at Nichols because there's a road sign on I-19, but as far as the pharmacy or anybody else that's up in there, they don't have signs out on the road. So like, being able to get them more business is going to help a lot. And like I said, getting people to come down and tour in with the off-road community, with just, we have so many hiking trails. There's a ton of hiking trails. And then that's supposed to tie into the Vitality District too, by creating new connectors to the existing trail system. But yeah, building out and like, so there's supposed to be like rental spaces for like commercial kitchen space. So like, instead of having to have a brick and mortar and a truck, you can just have a brick and mortar or a truck, and then use that space interchangeably with those. And then there's supposed to be like dedicated spots for food trucks, because events right now, you don't have outlets everywhere. So everybody's running a generator, and then you have to yell over the generator and make your order. And you're like, wait, what was, did you say with cheese? Now you don't have to worry about that, because there's going to be dedicated outlets that these trucks can hook up to, and they're not going to be, you know, running these generators all the time. It'd be a perfect opportunity to have a homecoming for Rio Rico High School. And I mean, that's a huge school. And there's a ton of cars going through that area every day with the students and the parents and teachers and whatnot. So I mean, there's a population there that we could definitely do these things, and it would definitely kick off as long as we execute it the right way. And the right way to do it is to not overpower ourselves with large corporate interests. We want to keep it local as much as possible and build up our local brands. I'd love to see M&M Orchard, you know, delivering flowers all over Tucson. Like, everybody gets their lavender and sunflower from you, right? Or you know, I think she was your cousin, Gallego. Okay, yeah, she's got her business. She's looking for expanding and going to the next lineup. We should be enticing her. We should be looking for opportunities like that, enticing her. She's local. She's going to keep here. She's going to keep building out.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for sharing, you know, all those visions, all those goals, because they're also from somebody it's taking, you know, that good position of leadership and say, you know, I'm going to run as a write-in, because I'm seeing all these great things that are coming up in our community. Our community, and we always say it, and I always repeat it, you know, it's amazing, and we move things together, and we move things with passion, and they come up because we want to support each other, we want to help each other. And then a leader that it's running for supervisor for District 2, Gregory Benoist, just goes around and look and see all those small things, but can make a big difference with small businesses, with entrepreneurs, with small leaders in our community, that they want to be their next entrepreneurs, that they want to be the next, maybe the next mayors, the next supervisors, the next candidates. If we teach them all those details, I am sure we can support and make a strong community, and to have also a place to host all these community events, all these family events, and have many opportunities between each other, like to help, and at the same time to collaborate, and all those details that you see on our nature, to empower them and use them. So this is great. And I also see that you talk on your vision and in your goals about government transparency. What does that mean for you?
That means that we are more forward with our communications, and we make sure that when there is questionable activities or anything that may even look at that it may be going have an appearance of being improper, that we address that, and we make sure that we're open and forward with it, not waiting until somebody finds out that that wasn't the truth to have things happen. Like we have, as Board of Supervisors already have, they have the executive session parts where it is not open to the public, but they do discuss things that happen at a county level, as far as making discussions with lawyers. And there are legitimate reasons for those types of meetings, like where you don't want to disclose certain activities to prevent the county or maybe a proprietary thing from going forward. Somebody like I know Walmart is very famous for, and Walt Disney did it too, making shell companies to buy land so that they aren't overcharged for land and stuff like that. That's a similar type of situation, not necessarily the same, but situations like that are where an executive session would come into play, where it's something sensitive to the public from knowing. Anything doing with the Border and Border Patrol, that would be subject to those types of things, where it's like it's not necessarily the county saying we can't let you know, it's the Fed saying we can't let you know. But at least saying it's the Fed saying we can't let you know this, we're working with the federal government, and that's what this meeting was about. That's more than what we're getting right now. Right now it's just it's an executive session, thank you. Where it's like, hey, we had to discuss some stuff about the border, sorry.
I see.
And just making sure that people are less, I don't know, thrown in the dark. Like, hey, don't worry about it. We're handling it. It's like, okay, we are handling it. Here's what we're trying to get done. That way people aren't just wondering why things are not going the way they think they should go. Or it's like, hey, we have a priority list, and we need to take care of certain things first, just like you do at your house, right? So we got to work on certain priorities above others, and so like roads are a big thing right now, right? And Peck Canyon's starting to get a lot more potholes because there's more houses being built further out in the far end of Peck Canyon, and they just put in a new pad for mailboxes right there at Peck Canyon and Frontage Road. So like, yeah, still expanding, but there's higher priorities when it comes to certain roads, right? So some roads have higher traffic than others. Those are going to get most attention. And then like emergency services, obviously, some of the other candidates that have been on here have mentioned it. Like we have communications equipment that needs upgraded. We have training and staffing that needs to be rolled out. And like the current state with the county is they are training our emergency services to handle what mining operations are going to possibly be happening. And they're doing it preemptively, which is a good idea. I wish we didn't have to do that, but it is a good idea to do it preemptively because as Supervisor Bracker said at the Cross Creek Connector meeting, we need to make sure that they are trained now so that if it does start running, they're already trained. Because if it's already running and something happens and they aren't trained yet, then we're in trouble. So there's always that weird balance of like, we have to be ready, but so yeah, not everything's going to be a 100% win, but I think like you said before, collaboration.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things as to how we get these things to work together. Detroit and Cleveland both suffered huge losses when it came to the steel mill, or the steel industry and the auto industry and their issues. And the way they both bounced back was by working together as communities and grabbing those local brands and saying, you know what, we're gonna help you because you are Cleveland, you are Detroit, you are Rio Rico, you are Nogales.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, those are the people that are making this community what it is. So why not put that back into the community when we, and that's, you know, like you see it in the communities that do invest in themselves, that you go to those communities and you're like, wow, this is a really cool place. There's a place called Rochester Hills, Michigan. And they have a, like, you know, the little mini towns that you can set up. It looks like one of those. And then every year they take and they string up Christmas lights on every building, and it's like all the way floor to ceiling on all the buildings, and they all get like different colors, and it's really cool. It's a nice little setup, and they do it as a collaborative community.
Yes, we get stronger when we work together, definitely.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when you do that, you build this stronger community, you build these better relationships, you cross partner with other companies, and you build bigger, better brands that way. And you might even end up, you know, joining forces with other companies and doing something that neither of you ever thought you were going to do. Like, oh, hey, we're both running a restaurant, but now we're both, you know, renting out ATVs or something. I don't know.
Right.
So it's just finding interests, common interests in people, and like even at the events, like even at your event, there was a couple of vendors, and one vendor had what another vendor was actually looking to get soon. So just talking to people, we're able to make that connection.
Making those connections. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Gregory, where can we find you, see you, talk to you if we have questions about, you know, your vision, your goals, anything now that we're getting close to elections? Which parts will you be around the community?
So I spend a lot of time in Rio Rico. When I'm out and about, it's usually at the community events in Rio Rico, like M&M Orchard, and then there's anything that's at like basically the Rio Rico exit. There's several of those. I try to show up. I'm usually the guy with a white hat and a camera in my hand. I usually spend most of my time behind the camera, and I haven't really pushed very much in advertising, but I am out and talking to people and letting them know that I am running. But the easiest way to find me is actually on the Facebook page it's Benoist for Board. I'm putting up videos on there. I have my initial platform information up there. I have more videos to put up there. You're familiar with the setup and everything, but
yes, and I know it will show in the screen as well, like all your information.
But I went to try and do a commercial type thing for the Vitality District, just trying to break down, hey, here's the things, you know, and all the stats and all that. And I did it on Circulo Mercado, but it was a little busy when I went to go, I guess. It got, every time the wind would cut down, like a car would drive by or something. So it's one of those things where you have to like kind of piece it together.
Right.
But yeah, I'm working on different segments talking about specific topics that are bigger topics that I've noticed. But yeah, I want to see a better community for everybody, not just a certain handful of people. I'd like to see more opportunities for kids, like playgrounds and parks and stuff, but also like we have one movie theater down here. We don't have a comedy club anywhere or anything like that. We don't have, like, we have the space, we have the buildings.
Yes.
We just need the right people to be put in the right spots, and everything will start to flow.
Yes.
And like you said, just small tweaks here and there can make huge differences in the impact on the way economy flows. And an economy that isn't helping everybody, and especially the workers that are providing that productivity, it isn't an economy worth having, because why struggle your entire life for nothing when we should all be working together and building something great?
Yeah, thank you for sharing those very informational, you know, pieces on your goals, on your visions, and also that you are around in our community, talking to our neighbors, sharing about it. So I want to invite you on May 4th at 7 in the morning on a Saturday, we will be running the whole Morley Avenue. We're gonna get to see beautiful murals from amazing community colleagues, painters, artists. It's going to be such a great and beautiful day. So get your coffee, get ready, wake up, be here in Morley Avenue at 7 in the morning because we're starting the third edition of the Zero Stress Movement 1/4 Marathon. You will see families running a mile, 3 miles, 6 miles, kids run, and it's just, you will see the energy, like people or leaders from our community just here throwing like the go flag for all the families to go and take off running. So the 6 miles is going to be from Morley Avenue to all the way to Monte Carlo. It ends on the Zero Stress Movement Park, the bike camp, and then return. Those are the 6 miles. And then the 3 miles are halfway, but we all start in Morley Avenue. We have a lot of visitors. We have a lot of people from outside that they love to see, first of all, the energy, the people from our community getting together, getting to say like, go, and then come and welcoming everyone with trophies. And then a lot of our visitors, our tourist people, they love that we're putting together. I say we because I love and I enjoy like running it with Zero Stress Movement, but to start like from the border, it's very meaningful for a lot of our tourism too. They get to see borders, they get to see murals, they get to see a park, and then they return and it's all a festivity, a party that it lasts all night because we end with Fiesta de las Flores. So come over. We're expecting about 500 runners. It's amazing what this group of Zero Stress Movement is doing, and it's the third edition. So we just keep growing in runners. So come over. It starts on Saturday at 7 in the morning, May 4th, but we will be handing packages on May 3rd from 12 to 6 p.m. So that will be a great opportunity, for everyone to get to know you, to get to know also that you will be on our ballots as a write-in, and to get to see all these opportunities, to get to know about Rio Rico, to get to know about your vision, your goals. So thank you for stopping by on our recently moved-in new studio from We Love Nogales, and I wish you the best, and I know we're going to see you often in our area. I've seen you in the ranch. I've seen you on also in Rio Rico on the other side of the freeway, getting to know the communities, getting to support farmers market. So thank you for going around, getting to meet with people. So any other advice, any other something that you want to share to our public before we finish?
Man, that's a good question. I just check out my Facebook page. I'm a little bit younger. Actually, it's funny. My 40th birthday is May 4th.
Happy birthday!
So thank you. Yeah, so I'm probably going to end up doing that with you guys. I became a homebody lately, but I am drawn to coming out to those, like you said, the farmers markets and the community markets and events because of the community that's there. Nice. And I think I have an opportunity here to be able to help that community grow with ideas and outside influence. Like as far as like, I've experienced some of the big city lifestyle stuff and been a part of that. So like I have, as part of my profile, I make pizzas and stuff like that at home. Cool. I can bring that kind of stuff to the area. But I'm also, I've worked doors at bars. I've helped plan stuff out at bars and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm familiar with planning things out in big levels and stuff. So I want to see all of that just elevate. I don't want to change it. I want to just take it to that next level and bring everybody up. And I think we're at that point. We just got to do it right.
Right. Yes. Thank you for sharing all that. Thank you for your vision and for also, having others our youth or young generation to get to walk on that path that maybe, you know, they want to be the next board members, board supervisors. They want to be the next leaders. And then what do we do? You know, like, so, you know, that's amazing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. Anytime. This is open for everyone that it's running for any position in Santa Cruz County, on our city. Everyone is welcome to our studio. We love to engage, to communicate, and to pass information because, again, we are getting stronger because our community, it's, you know, everyone helps each other, and that's how we run. That's how we do our leadership, by engaging with each other on our community. So come over. Interview with us, share your passion, your entrepreneurs, your leadership with us, and we will see you on Thursday for the Fiesta de las Flores candidates. And thank you again, Gregory Benoist, running for District 2 for Santa Cruz County for board supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, everyone.